Climate change and violence and its effects on Earth.
The fight against climate change is not only a struggle to stay alive. For many women, it can be a direct cause of violence. For example, in Uganda, as in many other countries, the negative psychological impacts due to climate change are starting to have an effect on people's life. And this is something we have to take seriously. As, for example, in 2019, two rural communities where most people rely on agricultural activities were studied by the UNDP program. This program talked to several members, and they described how heavier rainfalls, prolonged droughts, higher temperatures were the result of crop failure, livestock loss, and increasing food insecurity. And so we can see how climate change can have negative effects on human health, economic activities, mental health, etc. Unsurprisingly, the study made by the UNDP states that the impact of climate change also increases the risk of violence against women. Following a new report released by the IUCN stated that the worsening conditions across the globe could lead to even more violence as natural resources shrink. Researchers studied the connection between environmental issues, this means deforestation, weather-related disasters, droughts, climate change, etc., and gender-based violence. And they found out that because of social and cultural norms, women and gender minorities are often most at risk. Violence is pervasively used as a tool to negotiate power, to keep power in balance and keep inequality intact. The report estimates that 1 in 3 women experiences gender-based violence in her lifetime. For example, a case study in Vanuatu discovered that intimate partner violence increased by 300% following 2 tropical cyclones. Another study was made in Australia, where after several years of drought, intimate partner violence increased. The report outlines how this issue rises when men try to control scarce resources under environmental pressures and threats.
So how can we decrease women violence that is linked with climate change? Droughts caused by climate change affect the homes of many, and women have to go looking for water, being vulnerable to sexual assault. This also leaves them prone to having to deal with domestic violence. To solve these issues that many women and young girls are having, we have to upgrade our infrastructures. We have to make building more efficient to reduce greenhouse gas production and to make buildings stronger for natural disasters. The benefits of this would be reducing overall greenhouse gas emissions in the process of building, making buildings safer and stronger against natural disasters, and reducing the risk of people losing their homes, and through this way reducing the chance of females being sexually assaulted or domestically violated.
The second solution to reduce violence due to climate change is having a one-child per couple policy. The one-child policy is a policy that would be implemented by the government as a method of controlling the population, mandating that the vast majority of couples in the country can only have one child. This policy will help not only environmentally, but also to reduce violence for women and children. As you may know, there is a link between environmental issues like climate change and gender-based violence. Any gender can get assaulted, but because of social and cultural norms, women and gender minorities are often most at risk. To maintain just a human, the UN Environmental Programme estimates that it requires 54 acres to maintain an average human being today, including food, clothing, and other resources extracted from the planet. So having a one-child policy would decrease the overall energy consumption. And another benefit would be that this policy would reduce child abuse since it would decrease the chance of having unwanted children. Also, it would reduce climate change and decrease the chance of women having to sell their bodies for food and protection. In conclusion, climate change plays a huge role in violence made against all genders, especially women and children. We need to stop climate change to prevent and stop this injustice made towards them. These are minorities who have a less of a chance of defending themselves. They don't have the fault for this violence made towards them, so we need to help stop climate change so that they don't suffer for the worst population mistake. There are many things we can do as a community, like be more concerned of our water and energy usage. If we all do our part, we can reduce and stop climate change.
And these are the effects of climate change and violence. Thank you for your attention.